For many kids growing up in the 80s and early 90s, it was a badge of honor to finish off the original Contra. The game is one of my all-time favorites for its twitchy run-and-gun blast fest. I swear there's nothing more satisfying than grabbing spread and shooting aliens. So when the original Game Boy came out in '89, I couldn't wait to see what games were going to be released on it. It's 1991 by way of Konami's Ultra Games banner. We have the often overlooked and overshadowed entry in the entire series, Operation C. Operation C has you take on the role of Scorpion, whose mission is to stop a new threat that's descended on the Earth called the Black Viper. These aliens have taken over a secret naval lab and have been experimenting with new weapons and technology, so it's up to us to put an end to it. Operation C borrows heavily from its Big Brother NES counterparts. Now, that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. First and foremost, you control exactly like in those early games with a jump that seems a tiny bit off. But thankfully, we get some really great weapons. We start off with the machine gun, and thank God we get auto fire from the get-go. I guess it took Scorpion 2 missions before realizing to ditch the pea shooter and just take the machine gun. Good move. Next up, we have Spread. What would a Contra game be without this powerhouse? Initially, it starts off as a 3-way, but by collecting another Spread capsule, we get the monstrous 5-way shot we all know and love. A carryover from Super C is the Flame Gun. While this time around we can't charge it, this one is great for boss battles. New to the series is the Hunter Gun. This is by far a great addition to the franchise, as its homing capabilities really comes in handy. That is, if you can survive long enough to keep it. Area 1 starts us off outside a naval base where slopes and a plethora of soldiers and snipers wait to pick us off when our guard is down. Making our way down an elevator, we come to an unfinished pipes section as boats greet us with machine gun fire. One of my all-time favorite Contra bosses is here, as we get to take down a fully armed submarine. I always thought that was so cool that you had to take on this metal behemoth with just your guns and wits. Area 2 is where the influences of Super C are really felt as we march upwards in a top-down perspective. I must say, this is a pretty impressive feat so early on in the Game Boy's lifespan. Scorpion brings the pain as turrets, tanks, conveyor belts, and other heavy machinery try to put us on an early grave. Area 2's boss is the Super Tank, a multi-vehicle destroyer with cannons and a flame gun in the center. This boss isn't too tough if you've kept any of your special weapons. Area 3, known as the Mutant Mountains, has us in the jungle diving for cover from pop-up sentry guns. Androids rush out to attack us from any direction as we begin our climb. This level is the longest one we've encountered so far, and it doesn't get any easier as we have to climb up the mountainside near the waterfall to get into the alien hatchery. Now we face off with the first mini-boss, the Scout Drone. This sucker likes to attack us with seeker bugs, but it's not all that hard to beat. A chunk of it will fall off, and the drone will escape us. Continuing our trek, we're greeted with rock slides and another climb up a mountain, where tricky-placed cannons and snipers lie waiting. Area 3's boss, the 2-stage Defense Borg, nice name right, is a 2-piece attack that can be tricky. The base will glide on the bottom of the screen firing at us, while the drone will attack us from the air with lasers and bubble fire. I think even Arnie would have trouble with this boss, right?
Wrong.
Area 4 is our last top-down level. The alien hatchery hosts pods of spider creatures that hatch from their eggs and chases us around. It's at this point I like to mention the music of the game. It's pretty stellar that we get Game Boy renditions of various Contra and Super C themes here. This area has a slowed-down version of Contra's Snowfield theme, and it sounds great. Working past the alien gates that shoot out from the sides, we close in on Area 4's boss, the experimental Spider-Bot. This guy moves side to side, spewing out projectiles and shooting a laser out of its ass. Try to stick with Spread or Hunter guns here. Area 5 is our last destination. We've made it into Black Viper's secret lab, and now it's time to unleash a godly death toll. Ceiling guns and androids come right at us, as well as facehuggers that smash through their containers. A small platforming section later, and we get to the trickiest part of the stage, the elevator. Here, androids will come spilling out of their hatches as facehuggers come from the opposite side to kill you. Not only that, but you have to duck incoming laser fire too. It's not an easy section by any means. After this part, we've finally reached the boss, but it's not Black Viper quite yet. We have to fight its personal bodyguard, the Super Robot. Attacking both on the ground and in the air, this guy will move back and forth, firing missiles at you. Once it's taken enough damage, it'll start firing its pincer arms in a circular motion. And once you reduce him to a pile of rubble, the last lone corridor hides the evil mastermind. Black Viper is defenseless. It's pretty much a carbon copy fight from the last level of Gradius on the NES. You've taken the best that Viper could throw at you, and now it's time to collect. Blasting away another terror that threatened the Earth, we do what we always do at the end of a Contra game.
Get to the chopper!